Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC Studios here in South Florida. And I want to thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Even though it is a very solemn, news day today. Nevertheless, I still want to thank you for being here. Contact info, as usual, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @SamDever_NGC. Hashtag Whitfield Report. You can also follow the Whitfield Report on Twitter at Whitfield Report. Follow me on Gab at Sam Whitfield. Facebook.com/Whitfield Report. TheSamWhitfield.com is the website, and I will be writing a story or a blog post about the news later on this evening after the show, perhaps. But anyway, let's just dive into it. Another senseless shooting has occurred, ladies and gentlemen, in California. So here's the headline from Fox News. California synagogue shooting suspect identified. 1 dead, 3 injured, including rabbi, authorities say. And you guys can't see this, but I'm going to move some of my nav bars out to the side so I can actually read this thing. Okay, so give me a sec here. Okay. A 19-year-old man armed with an assault-type rifle opened fire inside a Southern California synagogue on Saturday as worshippers prepared to celebrate the last day of Passover, killing a woman and injuring 3 others, authorities said. An unidentified off-duty Border Patrol agent who was inside Chabad of Poway synagogue fired at the shooter, later identified as John Ernest, missing him but striking his getaway vehicle, authorities said. While in the vehicle, Ernest called 911 to report the shooting. San Diego Police Chief David Nislet said. When an officer reached the man on the roadway, the suspect pulled over, jumped out of the car with his hands up, and was immediately taken into custody, he said. A girl and 2 men, including the rabbi, were wounded and transported to the hospital. They were said to be in stable condition. At a news conference later Saturday, San Diego County Sheriff Bill Gore said the FBI and homicide agents have interviewed Ernest and they are looking into his social media accounts. He said they are investigating reports that the 19-year-old, who had no prior contact with the law enforcement before Saturday, had written an anti-Jewish screed online. Gore said they are trying to determine the validity of the manifesto. He said Ernst is also being investigated for a proper connection to arson that caused property damage at Darul Arqam Mosque in Escondido last month. No injuries were reported in that fire. President Trump and other elected officials decried what they saw as an anti-Semitic attack exactly 6 months since 11 people were killed at a Pittsburgh synagogue in the deadliest assault on Jews in U.S. history. Trump offered his sympathies Saturday, saying that the shooting looks like a hate crime and called it hard to believe. Thoughts and prayers to all of those affected by the shooting at the synagogue in Poway, California. God bless you all, Trump also tweeted. Suspect apprehended. Law enforcement did an outstanding job. Thank you. He then praised the off-duty patrol agent who shot at Ernst inside the synagogue. Sincerest thank you to our great Border Patrol agent who stopped the shooter at the synagogue in Poway, California, Trump wrote. He may have been off duty, but his talents for law enforcement work. Amen to that, President Trump. Sources told Fox News that the Border Patrol agent was a member of Chabad of Poway. California Governor Gavin Newsom also weighed in on the shooting, tweeted his support for the city of Poway, which is about 20 miles north of San Diego. No one should ever fear going to their place of worship, he said. Hate continues to fuel horrific and cowardly acts of violence across our state, country, and world. It must be called out. California stands with Poway. Likewise, Poway Mayor Steve Voss at the news conference said that this act of violence does not adequately portray the city. We always walk with our arms around each other, and we will walk through this tragedy with our arms around each other, Voss said. Poway will stay strong, and we will always be a community that cares for one another. The shooting came exactly 6 months since a shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue killed 11 people in the deadliest attack on Jews in U.S. history. The Associated Press contributed to this report, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, real quick, I do want to play for you a clip of President Trump's reaction and statement to this shooting, because I think his statement was very good. Now, this does come from CNN. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of CNN, but they were the ones to have this clip. So, without further ado, this is President Trump's statement on the shooting. Let's roll the tape.
President Trump is now reacting to this news of a deadly synagogue shooting in Poway, California. Let's listen.
I do. My deepest sympathies go to the people that were affected, the families, their loved ones, by the, obviously looks right now, based on my last conversations, looks like a hate crime. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. With respect to the synagogue in California near San Diego, and we're doing some very heavy research. We'll see what happens, what comes up. At this moment, it looks like a hate crime, but my deepest sympathies to all of those affected. And we'll get to the bottom of it. It looks like the person was apprehended, no more danger, and law enforcement's done a fantastic job. Fantastic job. Okay? I'm heading out to Wisconsin right now. We have a lot of people, and they've been lined up for a day already, and I look forward to that. I just left, as you probably know, I just left with Prime Minister Abe of Japan. We had great talks. This morning we played a very fast round of golf. We had a meeting afterwards, and it looks like it's doing well. Our trade deal, our relationship, our military ties. Japan has agreed to buy a tremendous amount of military equipment. I mean, they're buying the best you can buy. We make the best and they're buying the best, but they're buying a lot of it. Our trade relationship with Japan is very good. There's been some weaknesses in it for many years, and we're getting those weaknesses straightened out. And again, my deepest sympathies to the people and families, everybody affected by the shooting at the synagogue in California. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the president again.
Sorry, I had my mic off there for a sec. Okay, one thing I do want to point out is that the left is already criticizing Trump pretty heavily for talking about his, for talking about his trip to Japan. They're saying why make a statement about that in the wake of this shooting? You should focus specifically on the shooting. And, my reaction is Trump did address the shooting. He is also the president, and he should also address what he's doing, as president. So, he said the right thing, I think. And I'm also glad that he praised the Border Patrol agent who stopped this piece of shit shooter. And, yeah, once again, just thanks to the law enforcement, the men and women of law enforcement who keep our country safe every day, and to our armed servicemen who keep our country safe both home and abroad. Now, I don't want to give too much attention to this shooter here, but let's be honest. This guy is a piece of shit. And there's no doubt that this is a hate crime. And this guy is pretty much alt-right. I had an opportunity, or rather, not an opportunity, but I looked at his manifesto before getting on the show. That's why I was a few minutes late in starting out on the show. This guy is completely disgusting. He did say, and once again, I'm not going to says, we don't even know that Ernst is his real name. It's probably an alias of some kind. But before the left starts saying, oh, this is, these are those, conservatives being violent, this Ernst piece of crap pretty much goes out and says that he thinks conservatives are pussies and that we're weak and that we're not doing enough for liberty, quote unquote, in his mind. So, before the left starts turning this into a whole right-wing extremist thing, we should all point out that this guy, is pretty much just a piece of shit in general. Now, with that being said, there were also parts of this manifesto that were quite chilling. I am going to read one excerpt from this because I've been talking how we should condemn radicals on the left and radicals on the alt-right. And I have said, as I said on Friday night, that Owen Benjamin, without a doubt in my mind, is part of the alt-right. So part of this guy's manifesto, he wrote, I did not want to have to kill Jews, but they have given us no other option. I'm just a normal guy. I'm just a normal dude who wanted to have a family, help and heal people, and play the piano. But the Jew with his genocidal instincts is insistent on poking the bear until it tears his head off. The Jew has forced our hand, and our response is completely justified. So, Rob is absolutely right. Optics got into this mess. Shooters just make these things worse. Now, I know the unbearables that some of you guys are either watching this or you will watch this in the future. So let me make one thing clear. I am not saying that Owen Benjamin directly inspired this guy. I'm not saying that. This guy didn't name Owen in his manifesto. He mentioned Hitler, this alt-right band called like Moon Men or something. But, and a few other people. But the reason why I bring up Owen is Owen has, of course, been obsessed with the Jews lately, and even saying that, the Jews need to die, and that they're disgusting people. And maybe it's just a coincidence, but I find it interesting that this guy uses the phrase "poking the bear," and that he's also a piano player that hates Jews. and as far as I've looked, I looked right before the show. Owen Benjamin has not condemned this guy at all yet. And I've expressed concern about Owen inspiring alt-right shooters. So first off, I want to play this latest compilation of Owen saying pretty extreme alt-right stuff about Jews. Once again, Johnny Arcade did a good job with this compilation. This is pretty chilling here, folks. This is pretty much a compilation of a lot of Owen's anti-Semitic rants. Let's roll the tape.
Jews are the most racist people on the planet. By far. They call themselves the chosen people, and it's because of genetics. Israel doesn't take converts. Do you understand how sick that is? Do you understand how sick it is when someone's like, well, I'm part Jewish. Is it on your mom's side or dad's side? Because that matters because of our genetics. And my fucking half-Jew dad, for real, my dad's a fucking half-Jew, his mom, so he's technically a Jew. The Jews are literally, I'm not exaggerating, the most racist people alive. That when people say that they're part Jewish, and then they say, is that religion or an ethnicity? Oh, it's complicated. That's both. It's kind of like is light a wave or a photon? It's a little bit of both, depending on who we're lying to and who we're stealing from. You can't be the chosen people based on genetics. That's the epitome of racism. You know, I'm a quarter Jew, you get it. When I criticize the Jew, you realize I'm criticizing the most racist people on the planet who think that they can rape you, lie to you, and steal from you without any ramifications because they think they are genetically chosen and you are not. It's not genetic. Jews were considered the worst of the worst. Why? Because if they get power, they will destroy your entire civilization. Has anyone...
Okay, that right there specifically was this guy's justification for doing this shooting. Again, I'm not saying that Owen is the sole influencer of this crazy piece of shit doing this stuff. But I am saying that he could very well be one of the influences, and this is why I've been pretty harsh on Owen lately. I mean, I say I've been pretty harsh on Owen lately, but let's be honest, I've been harsh on Owen for the last, year, and this shit is the reason why. It's shit like this.
Not seen that happening? I'm a quarter Jew, you get it.
John Ernest Manifesto. Okay, so again, I'm just a normal dude who wanted to have a family and help heal people and play piano. But the Jew with his, instincts is insistent on poking the bear until it tears his head off. Again, I understand poking the bear is part of the, it's part of the common vernacular. I get that somewhat. But again, Owen always talks how he just wants to have a family and play piano and help people. And he's also talking how the Jews are the single worst people in society. So before people, say, oh, well, Sam, you're slandering Owen. Well, no, I'm not, because I never said that Owen was directly responsible for this shooting. I am saying his, material and his content and his rants like this could be, could have inspired this guy. So, not only that, folks, but I don't like to say I told you so, but I do want to remind people that a few months ago, let me check the date on this video actually. Okay, let me go ahead and check the date on this video real quick. Okay, when did I upload this? Okay, so back on March 10th of 2018, on that episode of the Whitfield Report, I played a clip in which Owen said that he decided it was time for him to decide who lives and who dies. And Owen talked about how there would be a need for violence soon. And I said that I was afraid that one of his followers might be responsible for something. And like I said, although there's no proof that this guy is directly tied to Owen, it is scary that there are people out there like Owen saying it's time to decide who needs to live or die. And also people who are justifying anti-Semitism and Jew hatred like Owen is. So here's me warning people about Owen Benjamin's dangerous and violent rhetoric from back in March. Here's Owen's most recent display calling for public violence. This is disturbing. Okay, let's roll the tape.
Open borders are not happening in my chat. This is the last time I ever do open chat. I've been catching some of the people, and not only do I not want an open chat, I don't want anyone ever coming into my country ever again, and I want to start weeding out the weak. So when people go, oh my God, what are you scared of? I'm not scared of shit. I'm not scared to the point where I'm like, who needs to die? Scared? Oh, dude. All right, let's start talking about some shit. No more. Guys,
Okay, I'm not scared to the point where I'm like, who needs to die? Okay, this is beyond hate speech, in air quotes. This is beyond, whatever grievance Jack might have with, Ben Shapiro over calling out transgender people. You guys on the left, you guys wanted your crazy right-winger, quote-unquote, gone berserk. Owen, here's the thing. Owen's not even a conservative. He's a fucking leftist. Posing. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. But yeah, I mean I know that that expression is hilarious. But keep in mind, let me just back this up again. Because this is some scary shit. Okay. Let's play this over again, shall we?
I want to start weeding out the weak. Yeah, I don't want anyone ever coming into my country ever again. And I want to start weeding out the weak. So when people go, oh my God, what are you scared of? I'm not.
I want to start weeding out the weak. Again, this is him going crazy. Or crazier, I should say.
Scared of shit. I'm not scared to the point where I'm like, who needs to die? Scared? Oh.
Okay, yeah, not only that, but he can't stream because his video card is dying / but all that aside, who needs to die? Owen is doing the shit that mass shooters do before they go and do a school shooting. Here's my manifesto. We need to get rid of the weak people. Here's who needs to die. This is shooter manifesto bullshit right here. And I'm not saying he's going to be the one to do this. Who knows? Maybe nothing will come of this. I don't know. But the fact that this is out there is fucking scary. Again, this is a guy who has been on the Daily Wire. He's been on Steven Crowder's show. He's been on countless other outlets. This is the guy that everyone needs to disavow, and disavow quickly, because he is now literally making calls to violence en masse. This is legitimately scary shit. This is shit that deserves to be taken off YouTube. This is I mean, I'm so livid, I don't even know what to say. It gets better though. Before I keep playing this video, I want to point out that this, yes, I'm playing an excerpt of my own show on tonight's show. So, sue me. This was back in March. I was saying stuff like, I was afraid that he would inspire shooter back in March. Everyone said I was overblowing shit. Well, like I said, nothing has been tied to Owen directly yet. But, the who needs to die type stuff that Owen was shouting out. This was around the time, too, when he was, when he restricted his, YouTube chats to members only, because he couldn't handle dissenters, and because he also wanted to, he wanted to kill people for basically I guess, I don't know, calling his wife a name, which he also says in this video. And I pointed it out back then, and I'll point it out here and now. By the way, I did not plan on wearing a dark shirt tonight because I'm wearing a dark shirt in the video that I'm playing. But yeah, Owen's behavior certainly, kind of mirrors this guy's. Let's continue on, shall we?
All right, let's start talking about some shit. No more, guys, I'm never, ever doing open chat again. And I know some people are like, hey, thanks for open. No. Someone just called my wife a name. I can't kill the person. They're just a little, no, out, gone, never again. You guys are weeds.
Like I just said, Owen's mad that he can't kill people who simply called his wife a name. And who knows? Maybe those people didn't even actually, call Amy a name on that stream. Maybe they just, critiqued her, or I don't know. Maybe they probably just said something that Owen, interpreted as name calling. And then, said that he wants to call him again. Stuff like this. I believe I point that out here in this clip. And for those of you joining, yes, I am playing clips of one of my old shows from a few months ago. So your first response to someone calling his wife a name is, I want to kill that person. That is a really healthy reaction, Owen. Wow. This guy is peak mental health. This is peak mental health, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I'm being fucking sarcastic. Angry Sam Whitfield there.
But Big Bear, you won't have as many people.
I don't care if he's being a pussy. I don't care if he's being a pussy, David. He made a call to violence on the fucking internet. And the way he's been acting lately. I mean, some people might say I'm overreacting with the potential shooter thing. Here's the thing, though. I don't think I am. Again, it might not be him, but it might be. He might motivate the next crazy person to go and do stupid shit. Yeah. How very insightful you are, Sam from 4 months ago. Jeez, I like this guy. He's pretty insightful, wouldn't you say?
Good. This isn't for everybody. Frankly, idiots don't know how to handle it properly. Did he just call for violence? Oh my God. Not yet, but I will. At some point, there will be a call to violence. There always is. For all of history, all time, there's always a tipping point when violence is necessary. Not yet, but it will be. So, you might want to gear up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, actually, Owen, you just lied because you did make a call to violence earlier. Let me go back. Let me fucking go back. So, obviously, I wasn't drinking beer before this stream because even if I've had like one beer, I'm usually mellow, but clearly I wasn't mellow when I did this stream.
Weeding out the weak. So when people go, oh my God, what are you scared of? I'm not scared of shit. I'm not scared to the point where I'm like, who needs to die?
That's a call to violence right there, Owen.
Scared? Oh, dude. All right, let's start talking about some shit. No more. Guys, I'm never, ever doing open chat again. And I know some people are like, hey, thanks for open. No. Someone just called my wife a name. I can't kill the person. They're just a little... No. Out. Gone. Never again. You guys are weeds. But Big Bear, you won't have as many people watching. Good. Good. This isn't for everybody. Frankly, idiots don't know how to handle it properly. Did he just call for violence? Oh my God. Not yet, but I will. At some point, there will be a call to violence. There always is. There always is. For all of history, all time, there's always a tipping point when violence is necessary. Not yet, but it will be. So, you might want to gear up.
Just because he's hammered, Evil Eric, doesn't mean he doesn't mean it. So again, to Gavin, to Steven Crowder, to Joe Rogan, to Clavin, to whoever else has a major platform who he's been on within the last year or 2 years or so. You may want to publicly disavow from this guy. Not only disavow him, but you may want to condemn him, as I already have. Considering now that Owen rants about Jews all the time now, I mean, this was from March when I did this stream. He was just starting. He was just starting to get on the anti-Semite bandwagon. But that clip I played of John Arcade's compilation, which I'm going to play again here in a sec for those just tuning in. Folks, if you are watching this channel and you still watch Owen Benjamin, I know there are a few of you. Please, for the love of God, if you're watching my show, unironically, you can't be that stupid. In fact, I'd like to think I have one of the smartest audiences on YouTube. So please, if somehow you're watching Owen and you're watching me at the same time, which I don't know why you would be, but I know there are a few people I don't want to name specifically, but you know who you are. Please, for the love of God, open your eyes to what he's saying, especially now. Get off the ship while you still can. Oh, Owen's the Titanic. Let's face it. He hit the fucking iceberg back when, the whole Nimmer thing came out. And the ship's been going down. And, one part of the boat is starting to sink. But, there's still room for some of you guys to get life rafts and get off the boat. So please, please, for the love of God, get off. I mean, I've had former bears. Just today, I got a comment on my stream from Friday night from a former bear saying, that he used to be a bear. He used to, listen to everything that Owen and Nimmer said, and he was loyal. And then he woke up, and now he feels bad about being fooled. And, I told the guy, I said, at least you're awake. And we're happy to have you in the Savages. So people are waking up. But especially now is the time to fully disavow Owen and other members of the alt-right. I haven't just disavowed Owen. I've always been critical of Richard Spencer, of David Duke, of pretty much anyone who's a prominent alt-right figure. I fucking hate those guys. So anyway, let's finish up my monologue from 4 months ago. See if I have any more gems in here. I bet I do. As ROTC already has. He's calling for violence now. Yep. And people may say, oh, well, he's just drunk or he doesn't really mean it. Doesn't matter. He's made the call to violence. I can tell you that there are certainly crazy people who watch his streams. He might not do anything, but I guarantee you one of his audience members will. And because he's been labeled as a right-winger or as a conservative voice, unfortunately, they will try and label whatever Owen does or whatever one of his followers do. The media will try and, link Owen's rhetoric to maybe the next thing. I don't know. This is my prediction. One of his fans, or he might very well do something, in the future. Someone will try and link his rhetoric to that, and say that the conservative movement is dangerous, and because he's been painted in our corner, unfortunately. Okay, this is also speaking in the present day now for those who are listening on the audio. I know I know that when I play clips of myself, it's hard for the audio listeners to tell when I'm, speaking in the past and when I'm speaking in the present. But this is Sam of April of 2019, speaking now. I still don't think what I'm saying is wrong at all here. As I said, this Ernst guy did say in his manifesto that conservatives are pussies and that, they're not doing enough for the quote-unquote cause. So, there is that, but it doesn't matter because the left will still say that, oh, this guy was a right-wing conservative. Also, stuff like this is why I was a bit critical of Jim Hoft for calling Owen a conservative comedian on Gateway Pundit. So, yeah. Gabe in the chat goes, the master of the past and present, Time Lord, Cyborg motherfucker. Well, I don't know about that, Gabe, but I do know that within, the Whitfield Report archives, I can shift time. So in that sense, I'm a Time Lord of my own universe. That universe being the DZ/Whitfield Report universe. But all joking aside. John Arcade, nah. Jim Hoft. I wouldn't say Jim Hoft is a fag. I would just say that Jim Hoft is incredibly misinformed. He's one of these misinformed people who is criticizing who is still hung up on the Owen Benjamin of 2016. I guarantee you that guy hadn't really checked. I guarantee you that Jim Hoft isn't paying attention to Owen regularly. If he were, I doubt he'd be on our side. I doubt he'd be taking Owen's side, and would probably be taking our side. Anyway, though. Now back to Sam of the past. It'll be open season for, you think things are bad now with Twitter censoring conservatives. They'll get a lot worse if this asshole continues to be associated with us. And, things will get way worse. Aside from all, so, first things first, he needs to be publicly disavowed. Okay, so I pretty much just repeat what I was saying. MPC. Jim Hoft is the editor of Gateway Pundit. And this is why I was so confused. Gateway Pundit has, at one point when I was interviewing people from Gateway Pundit, Gateway Pundit was working with Laura Loomer and Lucian Wintrich, both of whom, well, Lucian Wintrich is a gay conservative journalist, and Laura Loomer is a Jewish conservative journalist. So that's what I'm saying. I'm a bit confused as to why Jim Hoft would be defending, Owen would be doing, a story, defending Owen from PayPal. But anyway, so, Lucian is too gay for me. Yeah, he's He's too gay for me too. I mean, any gay guy is too gay for me though. Johnny Arcade. I like, you know. I like the women's or the women's, you know, as the internet likes to say. But anyway, um so I do want to give credit though to conservatives who are disavowing both the alt-right and the left for acts of violence. Jeremy Boring who runs Daily Wire. He's the editor at large over there. He did a tweet about an hour or so ago, saying this. Richard Spencer, Vox Day, Owen Benjamin, Rick Walls, Louis Farrakhan, Ilhan Omar, Linda Sarsour, Keith Ellison, today's New York Times International Edition, anti-Semitism knows no party. It infects the asshole fringes of left and right. And I quote tweeted that and said 100%. Once again, though, I'm going to like and retweet this. Retweet. Okay. Okay. Small-minded bigots and weak little conspiracy theorists afraid of reality need an excuse for their own failures. They construct complex, counterfactual histories and theologies to hide their impotence. They believe they have solved a great riddle when in fact they are just proof of that which they deny. That God chose the Jews and that there is something great and terrible in being chosen by God. Well, I mean, minus the end of that third tweet, I pretty much agree with everything. You know, and I've said, as I've said, the far right, the alt-right, and the left are pretty much two sides of the same coin of dipshittery. So, good for you, Jeremy Boring. Now Owen's banned from Twitter. Let's not forget that. But he's not banned on Instagram. So this is fun. So, Owen tweeted out, or Owen posted on, I say tweeted out because Owen uses Instagram like Twitter. He says, this guy looks like a full-blown butt-pumping sodomite machine, official bench Puro, calls an alleged sodomite his God King. That mouth of his is open for business. Okay, so Owen's response to Jeremy Boring, rather than try and actually even defend himself, is just to do the typical thing Owen does, which is to call people gay. I mean, it really is. Or, I mean, I'm not even saying, I'm saying this unironically too, but oy vey. Oy vey, Owen. Like, here's the thing, like, deep down, somewhere in Owen's conscience, he knows that deep down he is an anti-Semite. He probably knows he's an asshole. He really can't deny that. So, but he's not obviously going to acknowledge that. So what does he do? Instead he's going to deflect and say, well, everyone else besides me is a raging, sodomite or whatever. It's insane, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, I'm not saying that Owen is directly responsible for this shooting, but I am saying that his rhetoric is extremely dangerous. And, like I said, it's rhetoric like this that Owen's been shooting that inspires assholes like these. So, again, thanks to Johnny for clipping this together.
Jews are the most racist people on the planet. By far. They call themselves the chosen people, and it's because of genetics. Israel doesn't take converts. Do you understand how sick that is? Do you understand how sick it is when someone's like, I'm part Jewish. Is it on your mom's side or dad's side? Because that matters because of our genetics. And my fucking half-Jew dad, for real, my dad's a fucking half-Jew, his mom, so he's technically a Jew. The Jews are literally, I'm not exaggerating, the most racist people alive. That when people say that they're part Jewish, and then they say, is that a religion or an ethnicity? Oh, it's complicated. It's both. It's kind of like is light a wave or a photon? It's a little bit of both, depending on who we're lying to and who we're stealing from. You can't be the chosen people based on genetics. That's the epitome of racism. I'm a quarter Jew, you get it. When I criticize the Jew, you realize I'm criticizing the most racist people on the planet who think that they can rape you, lie to you, and steal from you without any ramifications because they think they are genetically chosen and you are not. It's not genetic. Jews were considered the worst of the worst. Why? Because if they get power, they will destroy your entire civilization. Has anyone not seen that happening? I'm a quarter Jew, you get it.
Again, this kid says that he's just wanting to be a normal piano player and to have a family, and that the Jews are poking the bear. Yeah, Johnny Arcade, I'll check that out. I'm not going to play a clip of this piece of shit though. I believe you when you say he is better than Owen, but still, he's a piano playing maniac who hates the Jews. So sounds pretty similar. Bottom line. This is why I've been saying condemn people on the alt-right and condemn people on the far left. You can condemn both Antifa and the alt-right. You can condemn both people like David Duke and Louis Farrakhan. You can condemn both Al Sharpton and you can condemn Owen Benjamin at the same time. You can condemn Vox Day and you can condemn David Hogg. Do you see how that works, ladies and gentlemen? Believe it or not, you can criticize both extremes of the left and the right. Uh, Jeremy Boring is right. There are, fringe assholes on both sides, and they need to be called out. Bottom line, to uh, obviously, thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of this horrific incident. I wholeheartedly agree with President Trump in saying that law enforcement did their job in promptly arresting this guy. Also, President Trump did recognize law enforcement, but I also want to recognize the EMT services and the paramedics who got the victims to the hospital so quickly. And I would just pray that the doctors are able to do their part in helping the victims make a full recovery. And, yeah. Alright, folks, from all of us here at NGC1, good night, God bless, God save this great nation, and thoughts and prayers to the victims in San Diego. Good night, God bless, and God save this great nation. Thank you for tuning in. And who knows? I might be back later tonight for a DZ roundtable panel if anyone is up for it. But as far as the audio podcast goes, this has been the show. So, thanks for tuning in. And God bless. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.